tell you to. We need to meet. Okay, let's meet at the studio. Okay, I'll be there in 5.
My name's Pricila Delatorre.
And my name is Jordan Hemp,
And you're listening to Off the Market Confessions,
where we talk about real stories, real estate, and real life.
Hi guys, we're back. I'm Pricila.
And I'm Jordan.
And today we will be talking about collaborating with other realtors and having a good reputation.
This one is key. This is key, actually. So I was thinking about this, preparing for this episode, and I was trying to think of the things that we could cover in this because it doesn't sound like there's a lot to talk about when you're just talking about collaborating with other realtors and having a good reputation, but there really is.
Yeah.
And I have tips because reputation, especially in a small town like Yakima, is so important for a realtor to have a good reputation anyways. And I can name a few, which I won't, but that don't have a good reputation anyways. I won't name them. But I think it's so important to have a good reputation because it is a small town and word gets around. Everybody knows each other.
Yep.
But when it comes to a buyer's standpoint or a seller's standpoint, I think it's so overlooked or kind of like invisible for a buyer or a seller to actually see and kind of evaluate a realtor's reputation before choosing them.
Right.
And so that's what I kind of feel like we'll go into and we'll talk about a little bit more.
I do
What
have,
do you think?
I'm excited. I mean, I have a couple stories and I feel like from going into this business when I first started, I always knew, I mean, I've always been a people person and I've always been into like having good relationships with people. I don't like to be known for like, being drama or messy or like a bad person. So I knew right away that I wanted to get to know my peers and that I wanted to get to know obviously like people like clients and my coworkers. But when I first started, there was somebody that I asked them like, hey, are you going to this award? Mind you, this person is very big in town. And I asked them like, hey, are you going to an award ceremony? And they said, no, I only go to those unless I know I'm getting an award. And to me, I was like, dang, like you don't want to like come and like,
Support your peers
and hang out and interact with each other. Cause that's where we build these bonds, right?
Right.
I feel like I've made so many friends outside of KW because we go to these events.
Right. Especially through other firms and affiliates, stuff like that.
So I felt from that person, I'm like, dang. So to me, I'm like, that's who you really are then. You just want to go for, the awards or whatever, like you getting recognized, but you're not there for
It's
other
a selfish
people. Yeah, it's kind of selfish.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And I felt kind of like disappointed, like that's who you really are. I don't know. It just sucks when people that you see so high up are like behave that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's the self-recognition part. I mean, it's great if you win an award, but the support and the fact that you're showing up and representing for your firm.
Yeah.
And it just,
even for your friends.
it just shows up. I think it just shows that you care.
Yes.
You're beyond the money.
Yes.
And I mean, or you care beyond the money. You recognize the importance of what we do. And when you show up to an award ceremony or a function that our association is putting on, whether it's throughout the year or at the end of the year, I think you're showing that support and that understanding of the importance of what we do. And it's with like-minded individuals that have the same goals, but you don't really build that bond throughout a transaction with a realtor. I mean, maybe you can, like it's great and all, but like most of the time you're talking business, you're not chatting and getting to know the person on the other side. But for the people that I have spent time with at those functions and getting to know them and being able to really kind of understand who they really are and then working a deal with them, it goes so much better. I'm not afraid to ask harder questions because I know that I can be like, Pricila, I know this is a difficult question, but my clients need early occupancy or whatever it is, or they're going to ask for a lot on the inspection. And I just want you to know that that's their first ask, but maybe we can meet in the middle, something like that. Whereas if I'm working with somebody that doesn't have a good reputation, who's known to be mean, who's known to be kind of like a shark or whatever,
or be shady, like
it's extremely difficult to ask that and have a mutual understanding and know that like we can work together.
Right.
It just doesn't feel that way.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. And it really sucks that, I feel like a lot of people have this like vision of what realtors are. And it's those few people that give us all a bad look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And those same people, they're not going to the events. They're not, hanging out with other people. They're not around.
No, actually, truly the ones with a not very good reputation, and this is going to be my opinion, right? But my opinion is that the ones that don't have a good reputation, they do not show up.
They don't.
And I don't know. I just feel like it's for the money. It's for the money. That's all it is to them.
I
Do they
agree.
care about their clients? Maybe. I don't know. But I would doubt that they have the same level of care that we do,
Right.
you know? So
Mm.
yeah, it's
It's
odd. But what do you like?
confusing.
I want to ask you, what does it mean to have a good reputation? Like, what is a good reputation? How does somebody exemplify or embody having a good reputation in real estate?
In real estate. I was like, in general.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I think
Or what builds a good reputation?
personally for me, I always take myself and my personal, like what I want out of it and think this is for my clients. Is this a smart move for my clients? Is this going to benefit them? Is this like for them essentially, right? Emotionally detach myself from the outcome because it truly is about our clients. And I think if you're working with a realtor that is in it for them, really detach yourself and make sure that whatever you're doing is for your clients. That's like basically the law, isn't it? Like
Well, I mean,
we
we
should be
are
doing it
supposed
for
to
them.
protect their best interests. Yeah.
Yeah. And I get it. It is a business for us. I understand that.
I think the good morale is important. Good communication helps, but there's other ways to show up and represent and build your character within your kind of your peers of who you work with to show a little bit more about, I mean, and build that reputation. It's about showing up and it's about showing your face.
I'm pretty good at like maintaining my cool even when I'm stressed, even when I'm upset, even if, something's going on outside of work. I'll still hold it together, but I see how other people are. And as much as, I'd want to lash out at somebody too, I try to give them grace. Sometimes I feel like I do have to check people just to let them know, like, listen, I'm not the one to do that with. I'm gonna be kind to you, but don't talk to me that way. Instead of like sitting here and like cussing somebody out or
Right.
saying, "Look at Jordan, why are you smirking at me?" I know, you know what I mean.
Like the last episode. Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think, just be a kind person. Put yourself in the shoes of others.
Yeah.
Treat people how you would like to be treated. If you were a regular person that that didn't do this as a business, would you want your cell phone person that works at the cell phone store to lie to you? No. Would you want them to be rude to you? No. Would you want your doctor to not give a shit about you? No.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's almost like common sense, but I think sometimes people just overthink it or try to be, how do I say this? They try to, I don't know, because it really has to be you. You know what I mean?
Authentic.
It has to be
Yeah.
authentic. I've always been this way. I'm a Libra, so I've always been very like the scales, right? I'm always very fair. I see both sides. And some people they just don't see that. It's their way or the highway and they're right and it doesn't matter, and it can come off as like, not honest. It can come off as greedy.
For
It can
sure.
come off as just rude or whatever it is. But it has to be who you truly are. And I feel like that's like the reason I feel like I am successful in this business is because I've always been 100% true to who I really am, even if I'm wild sometimes, but I'll always be respectful, unless you
Well, you can live the life
Yeah.
you want to, right? You can live
Yeah.
whatever life you want, but as long as you do business the right way and in a healthy way, I feel like that's like kind of maybe a key word is like a healthy way of doing business is I think that if you approach a deal from a place of abundance and not scarcity, meaning, and like as an example, if you're coming into this with an abundance, meaning like we have a lot of people involved here.
Yeah.
Everybody has their role and their job, but we all have the knowledge and the expertise and the skill set to make both parties in the end happy. So you're kind of coming into this with an open mind, willing to work together as a team. If you're coming into it from a place of scarcity where you're just protecting you and what you walk away with in the end, you're not actually representing your client's best interest. And in a way, you almost have to work for the other side to protect their best interest too, because what they want is the exact same thing as your client wants in most cases. And that is to complete a deal successfully and be done, And so I did want to touch on an example that is happening recently with me in a deal where it has to do with the separation of protecting your client's best interest, but also running this as a business.
Right.
So because we do this for a living, we do this for business, and we do have an interest in it that we also have to protect at the end of the day. And so you can't bend over backwards and just give everything up on your side to protect your client's best interest, because then we're not actually conducting business.
Right.
So for example, I have one that's closing tomorrow, actually. By the time this airs, it will have been done, hopefully, unless the world falls apart with us again.
No,
This isn't even real wood, but whatever. In the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of issues with a low appraisal on the house, and that was a complete shocker surprise. And before we even found that out, my clients, who I'm representing the buyers, were trying to ask the sellers and listing agents for early occupancy of the home, because my clients have to be out of their home by a certain date, and they work very, very busy schedules, and they only had 2 days off out of 3 weeks. They had 2 days off, and we were trying to see if we could get in a week early to let them move on those 2 days off. Otherwise, they're going to be moving at nighttime, and they have 3 daughters. One has disabilities. So
It's like everything was working against them at this moment.
Kind of, yeah.
In a
And
sense,
so we
like they
were
just don't
we were
want-
negotiating early occupancy. And of course, I'm going to go in and ask for a little bit more than what's expected. So, or what might be agreeable, right? That's how negotiating works. You go in and you ask for a little bit more than what you think they'll say yes to, and then you negotiate, right? So I asked if they could move in without having to pay any rent to have the house early. They would cover the utilities. It's just that normally, if they're living in somebody else's space, they pay rent. So I said, let's just do it out of the grace of your heart. Let my clients move in. And they were like, absolutely not. And they were like, we want $100 a day. And I was like, okay, if you do the math, that's $3,000 a month, which is double the rental rate of what that house is.
So greedy.
Said $50 a day. And my clients are using down payment assistance. They're not coming into this with any money at all. They don't have a lot of savings. And the sellers, now I should also mention, the sellers are supposedly, and I believe it, that they're in a bad financial position where they're upside down on this home. They owe more money on this home than what they're actually going to be getting out of it. So they have to bring $20,000 to the table just to get out.
That's crazy.
And so I was told that they're taking a loan out just to pay that $20,000 to pay off the other loan. So they'll be, instead of being stuck with their mortgage loan of whatever amount, 200 something thousand, they'll have a $20,000 loan after that's all paid to pay off on their own. So anyways, they're not in a place with a lot of money either. So I said, well, they can make a little bit more money off of us if they allow us the early occupancy. But the realtors on the other side were wanting to be a little bit, they were trying to be difficult, and they were not making it easy on me. And they were saying that's just not going to work. They called me. And they said, Jordan, we just don't think that our client is putting a lot on the line by allowing something like that. We don't think that it's going to be the right decision for them. It's risky, but we just want you to be fully prepared to, if your clients need a place to live, you might have to house them in a hotel or something, which I don't find appropriate. You do not tell me that I might need to put my clients into a hotel.
Right.
The fact was they're not even listening to me. They don't need a place to live right now because they do have their current house. They just need to move while they have time when they're off of work or when they have those days off. So they weren't listening to me. They're like, put your clients in a hotel. I'm like, you're not even understanding what I'm saying. That's not the problem. They have a place to live for a bit, but they have a lot to move. And so that's why we wanted to do it. So I was a little disappointed that they said that. I think it's inappropriate for them to be suggesting that my client should be in a hotel.
Yeah.
So I still continued negotiating with them, trying to haggle the price, $50, $75 a day. And then they were wishy-washy that they probably wouldn't even have agreed to 100 to begin with, actually. And so then
it's like, is this conversation are you having, as a realtor, it doesn't matter, say we're working a deal together, just so you guys are aware. If we're working a deal together, it doesn't matter how outlandish or how ridiculous. If Jordan tells me something, I have to present it to my seller.
Yes.
Right? So if if you have the buyer and I have the seller, it doesn't matter if you're telling me I want to live there 30 days before. I have to say, hey, by the way, this is what they want.
Right.
That's my job. Do your
you
job.
have to.
As a realtor, do your job.
And
Don't say
that's
no
actually
for
one of the fears I have. I actually have a pretty strong reason to believe that they're trying to negotiate a deal without even talking to their client about it. And then once we've agreed on something, then they'll go talk to their client about it. But you have to present every offer.
Yeah.
Every offer. So the first offer, that doesn't work. And then we, meet in the middle but every one of those has to be communicated along the way because it's the client's decision, not yours as a realtor. So moving forward, I continued to negotiate it. They then were saying, how about we give you the driveway space only? It's a 2-car parking pad or 3-car parking pad off of the road. And it's in a suburban residential neighborhood. There's houses next door, right? A busy neighborhood.
Yeah.
they're like, we'll give you the driveway for your clients to put your stuff for $100 a day.
That's for $100, not
to have the driveway. And I said, that's not going to fly with them. I said, these guys need to put their personal belongings inside a house that's safe and secure, and they need to be able to protect it from the weather and all that. They're not going to put their personal belongings in a driveway. That's not safe.
Ridiculous.
And get this, their response to me was, well, that's why your client should have renter's insurance. It doesn't matter if it's inside or outside. It will protect their stuff. Like,
that's so
put your personal belongings, everything in your house, set it on a driveway. You don't think people are going to go steal that, or that it's going to get ruined?
Insensitive.
So
like
crazy, right? So then the same day that happened, we found out there was a low appraisal, which this news came like 3 weeks after the appraisal was done. It was like way late. It was a complete shocker. It was low by $5,000. And so we were trying to figure out, how are we going to fix this? The buyers have no more money. The sellers have no money. They're actually upside down. So the lender was the one that made a mistake. And unfortunately, this was the lender's big mistake. And so he was like, well, I can contribute $1,500 to help fill the gap, but somebody else has got to come up with the rest. And me, as a buyer's agent, I'm honestly completely innocent with my buyers in this because it was the lender's mistake, but it's the seller's problem that the house is overpriced.
And the realtors, because they didn't price it.
They didn't price it right. Yes, they didn't price it right. And you should know that this house was on the market for like almost the whole last year. It started a year ago.
Yeah.
So they need to sell this house. If they don't sell this house, like let's say my clients weren't able to figure this out, which I'll get to that in a minute. But if they didn't, we'd have to tell the seller, we can't come up with the money and we're backing out.
Yeah.
That seller would go back on the market, and they're at this point, they're looking out for a closing on that house because they're desperate to get out.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, that's actually more a bigger problem for them than it is us, because we can just go find something else and I can make sure that my clients are buying something that's actually worth what they're willing to pay.
Right.
And so the lender said, I'll give $1,500, which didn't seem like a lot because honestly, the lender probably should have covered it. It was their mistake, a big mistake.
They should have 100% covered that.
It doesn't matter whether they do or don't. There's still this low appraisal, and that falls back onto the seller. And so the listing agents called me. They said, hey, the lender is willing to pitch in $1,500. Why don't you just be the hero and you donate the rest of your commission, $3,500, to fill the gap? Just be the hero. You know that if you just talk to your clients and tell them that you need referrals in the future, it'll pay you back down the road. So, and I'm like,
mind you, you already took a commission cut.
I already did. I took a whole % discount to begin this deal. Yeah. And then they wanted me, and then they wanted me to do that.
Is actually like,
it was $3,000.
Yeah, it's not way lower, but like,
it was $3,000
like us
less.
getting half a % less, it's like, okay, whatever. But getting a whole % less, it's kind of like,
yeah.
We hardly ever do that, I feel like.
So, yeah, and I never settle for that
you
low.
Don't.
Usually,
I know, you usually don't.
It was 2, and I usually try to go for 2.5, but I was like, you know what, to make this happen, that's fine, I'll do it. And then the low appraisal. So they're telling me, but on that phone call, this was before Memorial Day weekend on Friday. I was traveling with my family in the car, or going towards Ellensburg, right? And this, when they call me, they tell me like, just be the hero, pitch in $3,500. And they were like, we need an answer right now. Can you give us an answer right now? And I was like, no, I'm not going to give you an answer right now. I need to talk to my client about this still. I just found it to be really unfair that they wanted me to give up my commission to fix their problem, their bad pricing problem. Yeah. That was just wrong. So in the end of it all, we ended up agreeing after Memorial Day weekend, we came to an agreement that everybody would, the lender, me, and the listing agents would all split that issue 3 ways. So it was $1,600, a little more than that, $1,666.66.
Yeah.
We all equally contributed. And I was okay with that because at this point, everybody had skin in the game.
Yeah.
I felt like what they were asking me to do was basically give up the majority of my commission. I was going to hardly make anything. And I had to pay a referral fee on that.
That's
too.
Crazy.
So at the end of it all, I was probably going to bring home like $1,800 off of a deal that should have probably originally paid me somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000.
Yeah.
So
that's insane. That's insane.
So what I felt was,
you still have fees. You still have things that you have to pay to the office and this and that.
Yeah. And they also said that
taxes,
they said their commission had already was already spent basically before they even paid it or got paid because they had to help clean up the house. They
But
helped
that's not your problem.
they helped pitch in all this money, basically spent their commission on getting this house ready. And they're asking me to do things like put them in a hotel, put their stuff on the street, and take hardly any money on this. And what I was gathering out of this is that one, I think it's disrespectful for them to tell me how I should spend my money on this because it's not their business. I'm working hard to do this. This is what I do for a living. It's my business. I do not do this for charity. I'm willing to help pitch in stuff to make something happen, but only if everybody else has skin in the game. So I just found it to be, I had a bad taste in my mouth about them after this. And I didn't have the best taste to begin with, really. I mean, this realtor called me dude or bro all the time. And I find that to be
Like
quite
disrespectful and
slimy, disrespectful. Yeah. My name is Jordan. I'm a professional. I might be younger than you, but you need to respect who I am. Do not call me bro or dude. I've never met you in person. You don't have that kind of
like the
authority
luxury to,
yet.
like to basically.
Yeah. Now, if we were good friends and I worked with you in the office and we're day by day, you know, seeing each other, that would probably be more understandable.
Like
but
appropriate,
you do not get to negotiate with me and call me dude or bro and tell me to be the hero. And
So like to me, that's kind of like slimy. Like
it is.
I don't
It
know.
is. And so
it's almost like he was trying to smooth talk you.
yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Like this is, who cares, bro?
Yeah.
Shut up.
I think it's disrespectful and I just don't think that they had that kind of place to tell me all of that stuff. You don't tell me what I should do to help them make decisions like that. That is for them and me to help figure out. But we're coming to you with a certain request. Talk to your client about it and respond yes or no. Don't tell me the alternatives of throwing their stuff into the street or putting them in a hotel or trying to make $0 off this. Because if I gave up my whole commission and I saw that settlement statement come through and show that they're still making more than I was making off it, I would be really upset because I don't actually know if they fully spent their commission ahead of time or not. So that was their problem. They chose to spend their commission to help get the house ready and overprice it. I don't want to take the heat for that. So it just really was, I feel like that contributes to that reputation that they're building for themselves. And I would not want to do that. I wouldn't do that for myself. So anyways,
honestly, I wouldn't want to
experience.
work with them. And you know, what's crazy to me is like, I understand, you know, when you're working for your seller, you're trying to represent them. But the people that are, you know, if I'm asking you to take a cut and I'm going to be rude to you and I'm going to be, you're already doing a disservice to your seller because of your behavior.
Right.
If you, there's even if it's bad news, even if it's not what someone wants to hear, there's a way to communicate it. And it's not like in a weird way or in a rude way. How are you going to ask me to take a cut and do all these things? And you're still going to say it in like a tone that's like disrespectful. That's crazy to me.
Right. Yeah. So other things that I feel like I've experienced, should we talk about Top Ramen?
Oh my God.
I don't really care. Okay, here's all I have to say on this topic. And if somebody has something to say about it because they are listening, then
whatever.
Call me. But I've witnessed 3 times now, 3 different charity events, food drives that are being hosted. 2 are being hosted by our office. And then the other one was hosted by a title company very recently. And there is a particular agent who finds it appropriate to buy over 1,000 packs of Top Ramen to bring to these food drives, which is a great contribution, except they think it's appropriate to dump it on the ground and let the people who are running the drive pick it up. And in one of those cases, one of the drives that we hosted, most recently, it was last year, this realtor filled a trailer full of Top Ramen and brought it to the front doors of our building and kicked it out of the trailer with his feet onto the ground and left it there for a day and a half. Animals came and were crawling over it and opening the packages. They developed moisture from being outside in November.
Yeah.
So, and some of them were ripped open from being kicked and dumped out of a trailer. And that's food that goes to people. I think that's very kind of sickening to watch somebody think that they have that power that they're like, I just feel like they feel like they're feeding people beneath them. And I think that's really wrong.
And like, even if, you know, the gesture, maybe you think the idea like, oh, I'm delivering all this food. It's a nice thing. It is a nice thing if you do it appropriately, right? If you leave it in the boxes.
The message behind it is just wrong.
But the way that they're going about it and like dumping it and even, you know, at the title company, throwing it on the floor.
It was still inside, but it was on the ground.
People walk through there. I mean, our shoes are disgusting. There's people that don't even bring their shoes into their house because of how disgusting the floors are. So what makes you think that it's appropriate to dump food and then use that food and donate it?
Right.
You know? Even when we've gone to like food shelters to like do our donations and like sort fruit, there's always like a layer of protection. So even they know not to have the food on the floor.
Right.
Right. There's always in a cardboard box. It's in a bag. It's in here.
And we wear gloves.
Right. And they
hairnets
wear
and
gloves.
stuff like
And
that.
it's like a whole thing. So that's like problem number one, right? Problem number two is like the people that are getting this food, imagine if they knew
that their food
food was on the ground. And maybe it's not a big deal to other people, but to me, if that was me receiving the food and somebody that is doing so well in life and doing all these things for the community, but that's how they're treating what they're giving me, what does that say about how you feel about me?
The people who are in need the most.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's
almost like a disrespect to them.
It's disrespectful and petty. And
yeah, it is really sad.
I hate that they glorify their contribution as such a wonderful thing. God, we're giving so much top ramen and food to people, but I find it way more disrespectful that they don't want to show the fact that they're putting people's food on the ground. I just find it distasteful. It's very distasteful.
To me, it's very like, because I know some of these people and like
we can do better.
We're close at some point in life, and I'm like, don't do that. Like, that's so sad. That's so like, I don't know. Because I feel like, as a younger kid, I have been on the end of receiving food from like a food shelter. So now to know that like somebody's doing that, I don't know. It's really like fucked up.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
It's super disrespectful.
Yeah, it is.
So, I mean, stuff like that.
Don't do that. Come, like, do better. Come on. You know better. Do better.
And, we also, talking about having a good reputation, I'm not going to speak extremely highly of ourselves. I think that we do the best we can and we do good, and we don't intend to get on our podcast to talk shit about people. We try to tell stories, but we try to keep them anonymous. I think that, it could be entertaining to hear some of these wild stories and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we're trying to do it to create awareness, to be better, and to share experiences. So I don't want people to confuse us as bringing these up as talking shit. Because if I wanted to talk shit, I would drop names.
Let's not do that.
But we won't.
No,
and we never do. Even if somebody asks me behind scenes, I usually don't. So, so having a good reputation, I feel like social media, we didn't touch on this, but how that rolls into this.
That's so good. That's such a good question because I am a social media queen, as we know. I mean, obviously, there's so many things. Social media can be a scary place, right? I know a lot of people like don't post that they're drinking. I drink. I do post when I'm drinking. I don't post every time I'm drinking, guys. So I am drinking more than you think.
Don't say that.
No,
probably not as much as you might make it seem.
No, I mean, honestly, I haven't been out to like the bars in a while. When we have events, I do like post, my little drink of mimosa.
You're just a social drinker.
I'm a social
You're not
drinker.
like behind the scenes by yourself type.
No, I don't go home and like have, actually one time I did Thanksgiving, I was cooking my turkey and I was drinking some wine and I ended up cooking the turkey upside down. So I will not be doing that again. Anyway, when we were cutting it, I was like, ew, why is this turkey so bony? Yeah, because I did it wrong. It was still good. It's just whatever. But I mean, it's really up to the person. I think some of the things I share, I post a lot of selfies. I post a lot of mirror pictures. Yeah, I know. I love them. I'm obsessed with myself. I'm sorry. Some people might be like, Pricila, why are you doing that? What do you mean? I have all my like girls that love me like posting stuff. And it really is like in my likes. I mean, yeah, I get some weirdos in my DMs, whatever. But in my likes, it's a lot of my past clients. They're usually all girls. And they're always like, you're such a baddie. And I love them. And I love that.
They hype you up.
They hype me up, And honestly, I feel like why not? If I want to post myself, if I want to post what I'm doing, who cares? For me, it's more like trying to show you listen, I can be a professional. I can have this big career, but I'm still going to be myself.
Yeah.
And that's who you're getting.
But that's what I was going to say. And this is what I think you do best is what you see is what you get type thing. Because you're really good at showing people your day-to-day moves through life. You post you post the good, but you post the basic. Like you post like a picture of your steering wheel, you're just driving, or a mirror selfie at the gym or something, or lunch, or you're at a coffee stand visiting your friends or something
or an event or this.
You post your day-to-day stuff and it's not for the attention. It's just what you're doing and what you're up to. And people love to see that because people who like you are going to be like, I just love to see that she's just living her best life.
And it's so funny because I mean, lately I don't have a lot of storage, so I haven't been able to post too much because then it's just too much too much stuff in my phone. But you know, when I don't post too much, people will be like, "Are you okay?" Which is kind of funny because I always think like no one's watching, but they're watching.
Mhm.
And then people that I don't know in like real life that I meet that I know through social media, when I finally see them, or like even people from high school, I'll see them in person and they'll be like, "Yeah, I see you've been killing it." And I'm like, I didn't even know you like followed me on there because you never messaged me. Like we never
Yeah.
interact, you know?
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary though. I don't know. That's social
Yeah.
media kind of freaks me out.
Well, and I feel like
But I love it.
when it comes
Mhm.
to reputation, especially on
Mhm.
social media, too many people, especially like people
Mhm.
that are influencers, only
Mhm.
post the highlights
Mhm.
of their life. And
Yeah.
it makes it look lavish
Mhm.
or extravagant.
Mhm.
And they don't show someone like, and I'll admit, like, I don't post on social media all
Mhm.
the time, especially not my story.
Mhm.
I'm just not good at it. I'm
Yeah.
on social media every day. I just don't post every day.
Yeah.
But like if you look at my grid, on my personal Instagram, I don't have much. I mean, I don't post much, maybe a
Mhm.
couple times a year on there.
Mhm.
But my real estate Instagram page, like my grid is full of podcast
Mhm.
stuff and just like things that I'm working on in
Mhm.
real estate. I don't do a lot of personal stuff on
Mhm.
there. My story might have a little more personal stuff occasionally, but
Mhm.
I think that when you look at some other people, you see just like the big parts of their life. You
Mhm.
don't see any behind the
Like the little
scenes.
one, the little
And
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it kind of feels exaggerated
Mhm.
and it's not really authentic.
Mhm.
So, and not that that's always a bad thing, especially if
Mhm.
it's business, like,
Mhm.
you can do what you want. But I just feel like part of that reputation you're building is that you live this high life,
Mhm.
extravagant career.
Mhm.
And so I think that it kind of misrepresents you.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
another piece, or before I move on, do you have any
Mhm.
comment on that?
I did want to say, you know, for me, I like to post. I don't know. I think of myself as just like a regular person, right? I don't really like recognition freaks me out. Compliments freak me out.
I like
I don't like it. I'm like, okay, shut up, leave me alone. So for me, posting like what I do, I just want my clients to know, like, listen, I'm a regular person. You're a regular person. If I can do these things, you can do these things. Because I would hate for somebody to look at my social media and see all the highlights and think like, oh, she's unapproachable, or she looks like a mean girl, or she
no.
looks like she's stuck up. I would hate for them to think that or to feel like they can't approach me. So I feel like I post. I mean, again, what you see is what you get. So this is who I really am. So when you do come to me, you know that it's who you're gonna get. I just had this convo with my clients yesterday. We were talking about how they met me or where they first, you know, like found out about me. And I told them, I said, you know, I'm very good at like when I meet people, I can not read their energy, but I can sense like, okay, I can really be myself and have fun and make jokes with them. But then there's some people that are more calm or more quiet, and that's kind of what I have to be with them because I
Mhm.
can't be fully loud, crazy Priscilla if they're more like reserved, you
Right.
know? So I don't know. I just want it to be a welcoming space. And again, it goes back to like reputation. I want you to know that for everyone, even realtors, even agents, even anybody
Right.
that I meet, like this is who you get. It's really who I am. I obviously you see it. You get to see it
Mhm.
day to day. But yeah, I like to make people comfortable. Even when people are upset, I'm like, okay, let's calm down. Like I don't think you've ever seen me mad. Actually, maybe yesterday. I get really serious when I'm mad or very like blunt
Yeah, but
when I'm upset.
not like I don't feel like I've seen you like raging. I
That's funny because I feel like
maybe
I
I've
have a
seen you
lot of
like
rage.
frustrated or disappointed, but I've
Mhm.
never seen you like actually straight up mad.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Like
something that you're really good at is
Mhm,
being approachable and making people
mhm,
comfortable. And I feel like your social media reflects that.
mhm,
It's what you see is what you get. I mean,
mhm.
that should be your
Yeah,
motto.
that
What
should
you
be
see is
mine.
what you get. So what I was going to say also, this I think is one of the most underrated but biggest contributors to a realtor's reputation,
Mhm,
or this could probably go across all industries, any business, is your ability to separate your emotions from professionalism. And I can't tell you how often realtors have this struggle of separating their emotions from negotiating and being
yeah.
professional.
Yes.
And this is just my opinion on this. I think that the bar is actually set quite low
Mm,
to let people become real estate agents.
I think so too.
I think it's really low. I
Mhm.
think the standards need to be raised through
Higher.
the roof.
Mhm,
And I think that there should be training on
mhm,
professionalism
mhm.
and emotions, regulating
Emotions,
emotions.
regulating your emotions,
Because
yeah.
so part of being able to negotiate well for your
Mhm,
clients is not letting their emotions get to you as well. I can completely agree with the fact that there are some extremely stressful moments in real estate. But just like I was telling you that story about my clients who have to move and they're under all this pressure and stuff, I have to remain the rock.
Right.
Though the sturdy person in the transaction to know what their needs are and not to let myself spiral about it.
Right.
I've thought multiple times, like, gosh, if they don't move, do I have to go down there with my vehicles and try to help them move in a pinch? But at the end of the day, I have to remember I could do that, but I am doing this as a business. They knew from the beginning what they were getting themselves into and the pressure of time.
Right.
They also need to plan accordingly, right? And I haven't given them any misinformation or misguidance on being able to do so.
Yeah.
So I have to remember I can't let myself get caught up in that tie as well. But specifically when we're negotiating, when somebody like an agent, starts to get upset or they raise their voice or they say cuss words or something that's kind of degrading to the other person, it just lets me know that they don't actually truly understand professionalism at all. They're actually not good at their job.
Right.
They're really not.
Right.
And it's sad to see some of the top producing realtors in our valley, some of them, I think everybody struggles with this at some point or another in their career. But some of them who do so well and who have done so many transactions still struggle with this on an extreme level where they get super emotional about it. And
I know who you're talking about.
some of them will get so upset they hang up the phone on you. And I know you know what I'm
I've
talking
had
about.
people literally, I don't know, I'm so embarrassed for you. One,
It's embarrassing.
One,
yes.
you're older than me and you're behaving like a child. Two, you've been doing this longer than me. You've done more transactions than me. You're obviously really good at what you do because you've done so many.
Some of them almost quadruple the amount of transactions we do in a year.
Yeah. So why am I the problem? Like, why are you treating me this way? Is this how you treat everybody? Which the person I'm thinking of does, because everyone has had issues with this person. But I don't know. To me, it's so embarrassing. And I think like, wow, I wonder if your clients like know if this is how you truly are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or what if they have a disagreement with their client? Do they treat them that way too?
Right, right.
Even if your client is upset and calling names, you don't have that right to say something like that back.
Right.
You have to sometimes you have to be the punching bag and you have to take it and you have to say, I hear you. I understand. I will work harder. I'll try better. And then do it, but you don't get to cuss back and stuff like that.
I've never, thankfully, thank God, thank my Instagram and thank God that I've never had, well, just besides one person, but I mean, whatever. I don't know. I let go of things really easily. I'm very like, man, whatever. All right, cool. You don't like me? All right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Move on.
It's not like I have to just keep going. Like the 5 years I've been doing this, it's been the one time where this guy would, he hated me. There was a mistake that I made. I owned up to it. It's still, everything was still fine. Like he still got his keys, whatever. And then just another recent one, it was with somebody that this was referred to me. They didn't know me. They weren't mean to me. They were really nice to me, but they just made the transaction really difficult. But I mean, other than that, thankfully, I don't know. I mean, I must live a good life because everything works out fine. Everything's always good.
I haven't had anybody that's gotten like extremely mad at me as far as a client goes that I represent. I haven't had anybody get extremely mad at me. I have made some mistakes, but I own up to them.
Yeah.
And I think that there's no arguing. There's, I think that the closest I've ever been to an argument with my client is something where I'm having to educate and convince a little bit like, hey, our pricing is just off. I really do not suggest going at that list price.
Yeah.
Whatever, or I think that you're asking too much on the home inspection, and I'm only telling you this because I want to get you the most possible repairs agreed to. But if you ask for too much, I think you're going to offend them, and they might not say anything at all.
I've done that too. Like, I mean,
it's not an argument, but it's just like, we're having to be a little bit combative in the sense that we're trying to say we're doing this to protect you.
Yeah. And I think this is something I struggled with at the very beginning. I mean, I've always been somebody that I need clear communication. But for me at the very beginning, it was kind of hard to tell them like, hey, maybe you shouldn't ask for all that. So now when somebody does go pending, when somebody gets their offer accepted, there's always an email I send out, this is what's coming next. In that email, I clarify, this is the inspection, this is the timeline. These are, this is who I recommend. Please know that, inspections are for your information. It's not a pass or fail. We can ask for what you want, but it doesn't mean that they have to do it. They can, these are the options. They can, they can fix stuff. They can give us money. They can drop the price, or you can back out. We can send them, this is what we want. They can counter, whatever, we'll negotiate. But at the end of the day, just know that, have it in your mind, like, am I going to walk away from this if they don't do all these things?
Right.
Because they're okay with you walking away. You have to know that this could be, a thing. They don't have to do these things. They don't have to fix anything. They don't have to give you a price drop.
Right.
The only other option is to back out.
Right.
So now I am more comfortable saying that to people. But before I wasn't. I was more like, oh no, like, darn it, they're going to lose the house. You know what I mean? But it really is just, do you want the house? Yes or no? Obviously, if I were to find something huge, I'd probably tell you like, hey, maybe you shouldn't buy this unless you think you can afford it or you know how to fix these things. But if you think you can do it, if it's little things, it's like, this is maintenance. You can do it,
Yeah. Don't ask for the petty stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah. And when it comes to,
But communication, essentially.
communication really.
Mhm.
But I think before people even communicate, realtors have to go through some sort of like training and understanding about who they are and their
Mhm.
role in it, and understanding that they cannot be emotional. I do take home sometimes, like I tend to carry like stress as tension
Me
in
too.
my neck
Me too.
and my shoulders and stuff a lot.
Me too. And if I'm hungry,
So
it's even worse.
yes.
It's so
And then the
bad.
headache sets in and you're just like,
And
yeah.
then I'm crying.
But I learned a long time ago, and I learned this through experience. And that's why I say everybody struggles with this
Mhm.
at some point in their career or another. You will make mistakes.
Yeah.
You will say
it's
things
okay.
you regret, and you will learn from it.
And own up to them. Like,
But that's the key. So I two things here. One, I learned that at the end of the day, I cannot carry that stuff home with me. If my clients are having some problems and they're going through a stressful time, I cannot let that
affect
put
you.
me into the same
Mhm.
stressful times. At the
Mhm.
end of the day, I have to go home. I have to be who I am for my family and be happy and
Yeah.
healthy, because that's what's important to
Yeah.
me. That's the best interest of
Yes.
myself that I'm
Right.
going to protect in this
Right.
mess, or and maybe not a
Mhm.
mess, but in this transaction.
Right.
So I can't let it affect me.
Yeah.
There's too many people that go home, like the woman who drinks warm milk. That's all she can stomach for a few weeks or whatever.
That's crazy.
If you're going to let that stress you out, it's
Yeah.
because you made a mistake.
Yeah.
That's why you were that stressed about
Mhm.
it. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're doing your job.
Mhm.
If you make a mistake, that's where part 2 of this
Yeah.
comes in. It's own up to it. So
Yeah.
if you make a mistake, or you say something wrong, or you do something that is, in my opinion, damaging to your reputation, that's not you. You've got to own up to it.
Yeah.
There is so much more to be said and more character building behind your reputation if you can own up to something that was inappropriate,
Yeah.
that was said or
Right.
done.
Or done.
And
Yeah.
so I have learned that honesty is the best policy, and being able to fall on your own sword can completely wash away the stress.
Yes.
And so,
And I think maybe that's why you and I aren't too stressed or like emotionally
yeah,
involved in things, because we're doing things the right way. We're honest people. If there is a mistake we make, I'm not afraid to say like, hey,
Yeah.
by the way, this is what happened. I'm going to fix it. There was one time that a mistake cost me $5,000 from my commission. Whatever. Well, I
I've
mean,
made a mistake for
wait,
$5,000 too.
mind you, it cost me $5,000 for my commission. Okay. And at the beginning of this month, I sold that person their third property with me. So
It's because they trust you.
They trust me.
Yeah.
If I make a mistake, I will fix it. I will pay for it. I don't care if it costs me all my commit. I mean, it is what it is. I
Hopefully it
have to
doesn't ever
fix it.
cost you more than
Hopefully it
that.
never
Would be
costs me
terrible.
that. But you got to do what you got to do. For me, it's like I have to make things right if it's something that I did, for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
Right. One time I bought a refrigerator for a listing, which I got a used one. I just replaced it with I replaced a bad one with a used one that was similar but working. One time I bought a $1,200 pool cleaner,
Oh my God.
but I'm selling their 4th property right now, actually. So that was the first one,
That's
and I'm on my
amazing.
4th with them.
Yeah. Because they trust you.
Right.
Because they know like you're not
Your ethics
gonna,
are good. If you make a
Yes.
mistake, you own it.
Yes. And you're not gonna like basically like hide yourself because you did something.
Yeah.
For me, at the end of the day, this is a small town. Do good, be kind, because you will run into these people at some point. They will 100% know somebody that you know. So just be a good person,
So
you don't want Jordan, by the way, he's not a good realtor. He got me the wrong tea. Just kidding. This is the right tea. But you know what I mean?
it better
It's
be,
just-
because I told him exactly what you texted me.
I already almost drank it all. But
So
Yeah.
one of the examples I have of like falling on my own sword, I use that phrase a lot when I think of this type of stuff, because like I said, I think there's more power to you if you're able to do that. That says a lot more about your own self-respect
Mhm.
and your
your
discipline
character.
and your character. Yes.
Character's
So
huge, yeah.
I was in a disagreement with this realtor about an inspection response about the roof on this house. My clients were
Same
buying,
person.
but this roof was bad. I mean, you get up on the roof, you could pick any tile, just give it a little tug, like
Oh
not
my
even a
God.
tug. and you'll pick up the
That's
shingle.
crazy.
One bad windstorm would have probably blown off half the roof.
Wow.
And so it was bad. It was so bad. It wouldn't have passed financing. I mean, it was just so rough. And so my clients asked for a new roof, and it was completely reasonable. It was in the $300,000 price range too. So it's, I mean, it was first time home buyers, but like for them, that's a big deal. They didn't have the money to pay 12 grand for a new roof after moving in. And they had kids with disabilities too. So a bunch of kids, but one with disabilities. And so it was like, they have their own priorities and expenses. So anyways, I was negotiating the roof, and this realtor got really upset, was like, you knew that going into it. Like, you obviously can tell it's bad, but you guys should have known better. And she just got really heated with me over the phone. And I got to the point where I was starting to raise my voice a little bit, and I was just I wasn't saying anything disrespectful, but I was just trying to prove a point and get across that, like, it is completely reasonable to ask for this. And eventually it ended up with that person hanging up on me. And I did I did not feel good about it in the end. I was like, that's not the phone call I wanted to have. We're not working for our clients. We're actually just fighting with each other. I was so upset about it. I was like, that's just not who I am to have that kind of conversation. So about an hour or 45 minutes went by after the phone call, and I texted that realtor. Not a long message, but a short and concise message that just said, I want to apologize for how that phone call went. I know that I am much better at communicating than that, and I know you are too. I think that we need to consider having another phone call where we don't raise our voices. And because in the end, I know that what my clients want and what your clients want are the same goal. We just need to come together on an agreement. And that realtor, this is where the character part steps in. That realtor said, I accept your apologies. I know that sometimes things can get a little bit frustrating.
Taking
As
no
if I
accountability.
did, as if
Taking
I
no
caused
accountability.
this.
Yep.
Yes, no accountability whatsoever.
crazy.
That is a person who will never apologize and who will do this repeatedly to other people. And, and I just find that to be a character flaw, and that says more about them than me. But at the end of the day, I was able to cool off and say, you know what, we'll figure this out. My clients ended up backing out of the deal because of
good.
it. But
Good.
which was good. Yeah, it was the right decision because they couldn't afford it. There was no way they were going to pay for a new roof. So we backed out. And that wasn't even the only problem with the house, but that was the most important one. So I just think that when it comes to emotions, like, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. You could be a teacher or a cop even. Like, cops can be known for having, getting frustrated and stuff like that. But I mean, when you're working in a tense situation where there's danger involved, like, trying to stay as level-headed and calm as possible is probably the best thing. So your emotions have to be regulated. Doesn't matter the career, but back to what I said in the beginning, I think the bar is set really low, where that's not even something that the state considers for people who want to get their license in this.
Which is crazy because they should.
They should.
Yeah. There's just so many stories, so many things. But at the end of the day, it's like, you have to remain professional. I mean, this is still a business, right?
Right.
You wouldn't go to the doctor and talk to a doctor a certain way, right? I mean, at least I wouldn't. I don't know. I've seen some people freak out, but I don't know. Let's just be kind, have integrity, do the right thing. Do the right thing even when nobody's watching.
Right.
That's like so huge. Yeah. I don't know.
So what do you think is something that buyers or sellers should do if we're not trying to concern people about this, but like, reputation's important no matter what. So I feel like buyers and sellers should obviously look at a realtor's social media page.
Look at
Like, no, you can. I mean, what they see is what they get
That's
with you. That's true. And so
watch this podcast because I'm so nice. Hire me.
Look at their social media page and just maybe ask questions too. I mean, it's ask questions. Like, try to find out if they have similar values as you, because who you work with is, especially in real estate, you could become friends throughout this process, and somebody that you want to support, just like you might want to support a local restaurant or something.
Right.
You should want to support a local realtor that has good ethics and cares about the community, is not just trying to collect the paycheck at the end.
Right.
And business structure, are they going to do the service for you that you expect?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like it's okay to interview multiple people and ask questions and try to take your time and align your values or what you think is good ethics
versus
and reputation. Yeah, align that. Do some due diligence.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I've said this before, maybe I'll say it again, but if your realtor is taking you to houses and they're trying to convince you to buy every single house that you walk through, that is a realtor that doesn't care about you. A realtor that really cares about you, for me personally, I don't care how many houses we see. I understand. Yeah. I don't want to like waste too much time, but at the end of the day, you guys are gonna live there, right? This is your house. This is about you. This is not about me. This is what I do for a living. At some point, I'll get paid. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes people leave me. Oh well, it's a part of this process, right? But if you're a realtor, every single house that you're going into, they're like, look at this, and this is only pointing out the good stuff, not telling you the red flags that you clearly see. That is a realtor that just wants to make a sale. They don't really care about you, I think, my personal opinion. Right.
There's just signs. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Sign.
sign. You can see, and you can tell, you can see right through it for the most part, hopefully. But just I don't know, like see what your realtor's doing. Are they involved in the community? Are they volunteering at different events? Are they in leadership? I don't know. To me, those things are important.
I agree.
Right? Because it shows that you care more about just yourself and your business.
Right.
Right? You care about the community. You care about giving back. You care about being a resource to other people, to other organizations. Right? So is your realtor involved in those types of things? Or is it just me, money, money, money?
Right.
How many sales can I get? How much? No, like it shouldn't be about that. We should be able to, in what we do, we should be able to give back, not just our time, not just our money, but, become a resource, become something for somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
Absolutely. Well, I think that about covers it on this one, and a good reputation. So
yeah. And one last message too. This message is for more for realtors. We've met. I feel like we've met so many like amazing people at these events. Like these coworker events, to where I almost feel like I see them as like my friends. So like if I do, the other day I saw somebody that we're kind of close to ish. We've gotten closer to them. But I saw that a client that had reached out to me, it was a guy a long time ago. He ended up using this other person and they bought their house with them. And I was kind of like, dang it, I missed out on that one. I'm gonna keep my other comments to myself, but I'm glad that it was that person that
Right.
got them. I
Because
was like, good
they're a
for
good
you.
person.
Good for you for like meeting them and selling them a house.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody deserves to win. Everybody deserves to eat, essentially,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, good for you. Like, I'm glad that if I lost this client, it was to you and not to like a bad agent.
Yeah.
So just know that we're even though we're like competition, like we're like supposed to be against each other. Like I'm still cheering for everybody. Yeah, I'm still cheering for my friends, the people that are in this industry. But I was like, oh, like, boo, I didn't get it, but I wasn't too upset because I was like, at least you got it. Like, good for you. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, I feel like there's enough for everybody to go around.
Oh, yeah.
And that says a lot about your character
Yeah.
and your reputation too, because some people get so mad if they didn't get a deal, and they'll send that client a message being like, why didn't you use me? And
I
it's
would
like,
never. That's so
I just feel like realtors,
Mhm.
and this is the sad part of being in a commission-based, industry where you only paid by commission.
Yeah.
Sometimes when people get into financial hardships, it makes them make bad decisions.
Yeah.
And they say things that they shouldn't,
Yeah.
or they do things that they shouldn't, like trying to sell somebody on a house just to get a quick paycheck.
Right.
I get it. The stress
Yeah.
is scary,
Yeah.
but can I say, I
Yeah.
mean, you can't go outside of what is protecting your client's best interest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
And
scary.
And we've kind of talked about that, like people like leaving us for other agents. The only time it really does upset me is when it's like someone close to me where they like do something sneaky and then all of a sudden I see them closing and you know what I mean? Like we were already working together and whatever. That really does kind of like, damn, like, why didn't you just tell me? I feel like you cheated on me. You know what I
It
mean?
does, yeah.
Yeah.
They're, like that says stuff about their character. Like they're afraid of owning their own decisions
Yeah.
or mistakes.
Yeah.
Or
It's like me.
some people just struggle with that. It's
Yeah.
hard, but like once you train yourself and get used to owning your mistakes and owning your word and your decisions and building that confidence and in your own decision making,
Yeah.
it just kind of like full rounds your character and turn your reputation. And it I don't know. I think it's so important.
I see that as like me going and starting a podcast with another realtor. You would be like, what the, and I never told you anything.
Yeah.
You'd be like, hello?
Yeah.
I thought we were in this together.
Right.
And now I see you're with, like, you literally cheat on me. What?
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. But I mean, hey, I'm still living a good life.
The world won't
I
be
can't complain.
perfect, but
Yeah. Not the end of the world, just the end of our relationship. No, just kidding.
and you're not going to carry the weight home with you. Like you can sit on it
it
for a
is
little
what it
bit, but
is.
gotta move on.
Mhm.
Anyways, I
But
thought this was
anyway,
a good episode.
This was a good episode.
We've got some more good stuff coming, of course.
We have some guests coming. If you've been watching these and we haven't reached out to you yet, we will. Just know we're coming for some of you. I'm excited. Yeah. This was good though. Thanks guys for watching.
Alrighty. Well, you know the drill. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and all the other things that I can't think of. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next
Bye.
week. Bye.